to my channel. So today I have this fun tutorial for you guys. I'm not going to take credit for this creativity at all because this is just kind of my, what do you call it? This is my take on a look that Nikkie Tutorials did using her soon to be released palette with Too Faced, but of course the palette is not out yet. I love the look that she did and I just wanted to recreate it. So this is just my take on it and using products that I already have. This is the look that I am referring to that I wanted to recreate, and it's a cut crease look. I love it. I don't do cut creases too often, mainly because sometimes they can just be a big pain in the ass and it takes a lot of time and patience. I think this cut crease look is so perfect for summer, mainly because it has, you know, some bright silver glitter, nice peachy tones. I just thought it was really fun. Definitely not an everyday look because it's pretty dramatic, but if you're like me, you have no problem rocking a cut crease on the daily. By the way, it looks like I'm naked on camera. I'm not naked, it's just that I'm wearing a strapless like jumpsuit and it's not really showing too much on. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know what you think of it down below. Let me know what you would like to see next, and that's pretty much it. I don't have much to mention in this intro, so let's just move on to the tutorial.
Are you guys ready to get to this cut crease awesomeness? Let's begin. To start off, I'm going to be priming my eyelid using my MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre, and I'm going to be taking this on a Luxie Large Fluff brush. This is my favorite brush to apply primer because it gets such a large area all at once, and I'm making sure to really go into the outer edges because it's easy to miss those spaces when applying your foundation, especially if you're doing your eyes before foundation like how I normally do. Also, by the way, my brows are already filled in. I use the Benefit Ka-Brow Brow Gel in the shade 5. The first shadow we're going to be using is going to be the Courtney shadow from the JeffreeStar Beauty Killer palette. I basically love this shadow. This is probably my only favorite shadow from that palette, and I'm using a Luxie large blending brush to apply this in my crease. I'm then using the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette and taking Burnt Orange on that same brush and blending all throughout my crease, and I'm making sure to just really smoke this out going upwards towards the brow bone. I'm not too concerned about hugging it near the outer V of my eye since we're going to be cleaning that up anyway. I'm then taking is it Tempera? Yeah, no, wrong one, Raw Sienna on a smaller blending brush and applying that in my crease as well. On a smaller blending brush, that way it focuses more on the innermost part of my crease, not so much trying to smoke it out like the other past two shadows. I'm then taking Warm Taupe on that same brush, and as you can tell, it adds a coolness to this look, and I want the coolness deeper in this crease because this gives the illusion of an eye contour and it makes it seem like our eyes are more sunken in than what they really are, which looks fabulous with cut creases. I'm then taking Cypress Umber on a Luxie pencil brush, and I'm doing this with my eye open because I want this shadow to be seen when my eye is open, not just when my eye is closed, so this takes the guesswork out of where to place it. That way when your eye is open, you know that it's still going to be shown and appreciated. Don't worry about it getting messy on the bottom lid, that's going to be covered up anyway. I'm then just winging out this shadow slightly once we get to the outer edge of this crease and just building this up to the intensity that I want it to be at. I'm then taking that smaller blending brush one more time just to go over all of the edges, making sure that everything is nice and well blended, nothing's looking choppy. To clean up the crease or the lid, I'm going to be using a light concealer from LA Girl. This is their Pro Conceal in Light Ivory. One of my favorite concealers. It's very full coverage, it's very pigmented, and it dries fast. So I'm first just placing a little bit on the inner corner, and I'm opening my eye purposely so that way it already gives me a line of marcation to where I'm going to just follow along and trace. That way, again, the guesswork is taken out and you know exactly where to cut your crease. So that way it'll still be seen when your eye is open and appreciated when it's closed, of course. And then just following along this path that it created and just going inch by inch, or what is it, millimeter by millimeter. And I did this off camera because it literally takes a lot of time, or I go really slow, so there's no point in watching me move as slow as a snail here. And then just winging this out once we get to the outer edge and just dragging that concealer down and cleaning up that whole area. I'm then going to be taking Colourpop Super Shock Shadow in the shade Glitterati. It has this silver with a slight gold tone to it as well. I'm taking this on a flat synthetic brush so I can get the most payoff with the color. And I'm not being too careful along the edges. I'm actually not really caring to touch too close to the edge where our crease is cut. This is going to be taken care of with the next product we're going to put on. This is just more so as a base for the next shadow that we're going to use, which is Anastasia's Single Shadow in Metal. It's one of her shimmers, and I love this shade and this formula and this texture. And on the same brush, now I'm going to be carefully just placing this along the edge of where our crease is cut. This shadow has a lot more oil to it. It's a lot more metallic. It's just easier to work with. As far as the Colourpop shadow, it would have been really hard and choppy and just would have taken a lot more time, whereas the Anastasia shadow just glides on like butter, so that's why I'm using this just to place over on top. I'm then going to be adding an extra punch, and this is optional. I'm using the NYX Crystal liner in Gunmetal, which is basically just a liquid liner already. And like I said, this is optional. I just wanted to add a little bit more pizzazz to the look, and I'm just going to be placing this over the entire space where we had placed the silver shadows to give it a little bit more of a pop. But if you are going to be using this, just note that since it already has like an adhesive mixed in with it, it's going to stay wet for a while, and you do not want to open your eye when the glitter is wet still, because that could possibly ruin this whole look. So definitely make sure you wait until it's dry. Just touch it with your finger to make sure it's no longer sticky before opening your eye. Once dried, we're going to do our liner. I'm using the Tarte TARDIS liner, and instead of lining the base of my wing first, I'm actually going to be outlining the top of it because I want it to connect to where the end of the cut crease meets. So the only way to do that is to just start it directly off from there and then fill in your wing like normal, which I did off camera because I was just completely out of frame. For the face, I'm going to be using my Marc Jacobs Coconut Primer, and I'm just going to be taking this on with my fingers, smoothing it all over my face. And if you see that around my eyebrows and eyes it's a lot more yellow, it's because I already placed foundation before doing my eyebrows just around this area, so that's why it's a lot more yellow and doesn't look as red as the skin that I'm rubbing around the area. I'm then taking my Marc Jacobs Remarkable foundation, and one dot in every area of your face is all you need because this is a really full coverage pigmented foundation. So I'm just going to be using this with the Marc Jacobs Face 3 brush as well. That buffs it out. Any dense brush will work with this though, or even your beauty blender, but I feel like the brush just pushes this product easier, and it dries really fast. It's really matte. This is a really good foundation if you have oily skin. If you are dry, you probably will end up hating this. I'm then going to be using Too Faced Born This Way concealer. I'm using the shade Very Light, and I feel like this is a good concealer to counteract the matteness of the foundation because it's more hydrating. It's very comfortable under the eye as opposed to layering on another super matte concealer, and it smells really good. I'm just going to be placing this under my eyes, down the bridge of my nose, and center of the forehead before blending this all out with a damp beauty blender. I'm going to just kind of zoom out here because I felt like I was just too close in the frame. And yeah, just pouncing my beauty blender on my face, making sure to blend this into the foundation. And with the beauty blender still wet, I'm going to be picking up some of my Coty Airspun powder to bake. I'm going to just skip over cream contouring for today. I just didn't feel like doing it. So I'm just going to set and bake these areas that we highlighted and placed concealer because these are the areas where I tend to get the most oily, and I want this to stay on without moving or budging, especially with it being so hot and humid outside. Once it's already been a couple of minutes, I'm just going to take a little bit more powder and just kind of lightly press this onto the areas where we didn't bake. And this large powder brush makes this really easy to do, and then just blending away all the excess. So now everything is just nice and set and smoothed over. If you're dry, you don't want to do this step, but if you're oily like me, this is really helpful. For contouring and highlighting with powders, I'm going to be using the Pixi Beauty Contour Book. And I'm taking the white highlight shade with a Luxie brush and just patting this under my eye and then blending it out. If you're like deeper in skin tone, this is a horrible color for you. This is only going to work if you're fair or like lighter than I am. But what you can do is always mix it with the peach shade or just use the peach shade on its own. For bronzer, I'm going to be taking my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer on a Sonia Kashuk stippling brush and just bronzing up my cheeks along the tip of my nose, along my hairline, and along my chin like normal. I've noticed that with this bronzer, it kind of always tends to grab at the top of my hairline, like right at the center of my forehead. I don't know why. I don't know if maybe I should have put more powder on there, like maybe the foundation still was a little moist and it just clings, and it really annoys me. But I mean, it happened. Oh well, what can you do but just blend, 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 blend. So as you can tell, I'm just like really just making sure to blend that out as much as I can. Then to just deepen up our cheekbone contour and refine our nose contour, I'm using the Maybelline Master Contour palette, and this is in the light shade, I believe, and just on the tip of an angled brush, just chiseling out my cheekbones and also just refining the sides of my nose for the nose contour, especially since we didn't cream contour. For our highlight, I'm taking my Anastasia Glow Kit. I'm using the shade Marshmallow on a Bobbi Brown eye blender brush and placing this on top of my cheekbones. I love this highlight palette. Like, this is the prettiest one from Anastasia in my opinion, and I just feel like it goes so smooth compared to other glow kits. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I'm also placing this on my Cupid's bow and the tip of my nose. For blush, I'm using the blush within the Maybelline Contour Kit on a stippling brush and applying to the apples on my cheeks and back. Since that's it for powder products on the face, I'm just going to be setting my brows with the Benefit Gimme Brow in the shade 5. To finish off the eye look, I am taking a little bit more of Burnt Orange from the Modern Renaissance palette on a pencil brush and just rubbing this along the bottom lash line, but leaving the first third of my eye blank, because I want that to stay really bright when we finish off the eye look completely. I'm then going to be taking a flat definer brush and pressing Cypress Umber along those outer 2/3 lashes, just so it kind of give the eye a more almond shape. And then I'm taking an angle brush with Cypress Umber and just doing that little dip on the inner corner before taking the pencil brush and just slightly smoking and blending it out. I'm then taking a NYX white eyeliner pencil and lining this along my waterline and making sure to really brighten up that inner corner before taking Colourpop's Tassel Super Shock Shadow on a small angle brush that we used to cut the lid and just fill in that little gap that we left open on the inner corner. This is going to give your eyes a really nice big brightening effect, which I love, and it's just really flattering on smaller eyes. It just makes them look a lot more large and awake. Then I'm going to be taking some lashes on top of my extensions because I feel like this look called for a little bit more drama. These are Lena lashes in the style Serena. For lips, I am taking a Colourpop lip liner. This is in the shade Brink before going over with the Amrezi collection from Lipland in Spotlight. This completes the look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.